This week is Parsha Shemini. The Mishkan, the tabernacle, has been built, it has been dedicated, and now it is time to inaugurate the service of Aaron, who will be the high priest, and his sons, the Kohanim. Interestingly, a comment is made that Moses, is to draw Aaron close for his service, that he needed to be encouraged for some reason. So based on a beautiful teaching by Rabbi Ben-Zion Twersky, I want to share an idea about what perhaps was Aaron's hesitation in serving. Many of us are familiar with Aaron and how he is spoken about in Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Fathers. It says, be like the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing it and bringing people close to Torah. What is it that Aaron did? We've heard stories about him, how he made peace between people who had disagreements, where there was friction. He would go to one person and say, your friend is so sorry and wants to be close to you, and reconcile. And he would say the same thing to the other person. And then when the two would meet, they would embrace, and their conflict would be over, and their friendships would be restored. So given that there were about 3 million Jewish people at the time wandering in the desert, we can perhaps imagine how many conflicts there might have been that Aaron was in charge of smoothing over. It was probably a full-time job. And now he's being asked to be the Kohen Gadol, which is also pretty much a full-time job. So Rabbi Twersky comments that perhaps part of the hesitation is that he thought he wouldn't be able to do both jobs. How would he have time both to serve the people and to also serve God as the Kohen Gadol? And a beautiful lesson is learned from this, that when we stretch and we give of our time and our resources and our money, we think that we're not going to have enough, but Hashem works a miracle for us, and he puts a bracha into our time and into our efforts and makes time for everything. This past week, we had the loss of the great Torah sage, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, who passed away at the age of 94. He was a person who devoted himself both to the needs of Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, as well as to incredible heights of Torah learning. How did he have time for both? How did he excel at both? He, like Aaron the Kohen Gadol, was somebody who saw that both his efforts would be blessed, that in the time that he gave to the Jewish people would increase the depth of his Torah knowledge, and the time that he gave to his Torah learning would help him in his service of the Jewish people. That is the miracle that God gives us, to serve both the Jewish people and God himself. In our efforts, sometimes we think, I don't have enough time, I'm too busy to take care of this person or that person. And yes, we do need to be careful that there are limits that we have, and to each their own ability. However, there is room to stretch and grow. Perhaps the name of this Parsha, which is SHEMINI, also tells us a little hint. SHEMINI, which means eighth, is connected to the word 8, and 8 is the number that is related to transcending natural limitations. We all have limitations in money, we have limitations in time, we have limitations in our possessions and our resources. When we give tzedakah, however, God tells us you will not lose when you give tzedakah, when you give your resources for important and meaningful activities in the community and the needs of the community. When you give your time to study Torah, you will not lose out anything. It will only grow and increase. It will reach the level of 8, which is above the constraints of nature. We should all be blessed to learn from both Aaron the Kohen Gadol as well as Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Zichrono Livracha. His memory should be a blessing and an inspiration to all of us, that we have room to grow above and beyond our natural perceived limitations. Our money, our resources, our time, our effort, our energy, all have a way to be blessed and can take us to great and new heights. Have a wonderful Shabbos.